Hey guys, it's xJack. If you can't hear me, sorry, I'm turning the light on. Hey, it's me. I got a comment on my other M video, and yeah, he did point out some things that he brought up some good points, but I didn't really go into detail about a lot of the flaws of the game. Yeah, it's. Let me take this from the top. Yeah, I didn't really go into detail about a lot of the flaws in Metroid Other M. Myself, as a fan of the Metroid series, I really enjoy it. Now, I'm going to break this down as best as I can. First of all, let's talk about um, the character. Samus is Samus is known far and wide as a very fierce, independent bounty hunter whose name is feared all throughout the galaxy. But in this game, that completely changes for the simple reason that she's now falling under the chain of command, under Adam Malkovich's command. Um, they completely changed the character. It's not exactly what everyone is used to or is a fan of. Um, then again, a lot of the emotion of this game was decent at best, but the first problem with with the game is the voice actor or actress in this matter. Now, um, Jessica Martin did a pretty decent job voicing Samus, but honestly, why did they get rid of Jennifer Hale? That woman is the most prolific voice actress in the entire industry. Recasting her just doesn't make sense. But I digress. The storyline of the game. Yeah, I'm switching over to the story here because that's where the main problem of the game is. Um, it derives a lot of Samus's backstory from the manga. If you didn't know about the manga, there is a 2-volume manga, like I said, detailing everything of Samus's youth, of her past. When she was a child, when she first met the Chozo, and when her early days training in the Galactic Federation. Uh, yeah. For people who don't know the manga that well or haven't read it, they're probably going to be a little confused, but for those of you who've played Metroid Fusion, you know some of the history between Adam and Samus, which is delved more deeply into in this game, which is good. Um, the only problem is, though, the one problem I have with it is Samus always states the obvious. After something happens, she says something about it. It's like she's. I mean, is the game trying to insult our intelligence or something? But yeah, um, the sorry, yeah, um, the one scene where everyone, sorry, the one thing that people complain most about is the scene where, spoilers ahead. If you haven't played the game or beaten it yet, I'll stop here. The scene where Ridley appears. She completely freaks out and freezes up. Why? Well, in all honesty, the only time people keep saying that Samus has killed Ridley time and time again. That's not true. The only time Ridley has suffered a true death was during Super Metroid. He was cloned from all of the DNA that was removed from Samus's suit once she returned to the Galactic Federation's ship, or HQ or whatever. That's how everything was cloned, including Ridley. But of course, no one knew the Dratar life cycle, which is what Ridley is. If you didn't know what species Ridley is, he's a Dratar. Dratar. Okay. The main problem with this game is how you gain your abilities. Now, I know that they had to come up with some way of gaining access to new abilities or power-ups and such. But really, the one thing that people complain most about is the various suit. Because when you set foot into Sector 3, ah, sorry. But when you set foot into Sector 3, you start immediately taking heat damage. It's like a point of damage per every second. And right away, you'd think that Adam would authorize the use of the various suit. Nope. He waits until you go through the entire sector, or the more heat-based areas, and you fight Goyadma, or whatever the boss's name is. That's when he authorizes the use. You'd think he would have authorized use of it sooner, considering he knew that Samus could not go into areas of extreme temperatures without the various suit. Another problem I have is the gravity suit, or the gravity effect. Really? They couldn't color the suit purple like they did in, I don't know, every other Metroid game? I mean, hell, they done it for Metroid Prime. Not to mention, if you connect Metroid Fusion to Metroid Prime, you can use the Fusion suit. It's cosmetic, yeah, but it looks cool. It's a nice bonus, considering both games came out at the same time, but I digress. The problem with Super Metroid Other M is because it's a drastic change from what we're used to in terms of the game, the story, and everything else. However, people complaining about Samus depending on Adam and his need for on his command she's basically desperate for his approval, because she did work for him at a time, but she left for some reason. I don't know if it's explained in the game why she left Adam and the Galactic Federation, but that's up to you. The gameplay is actually pretty good. I mean, it integrates 2D and 3D. And a lot of the famous upgrades are back, like the Speed Booster, the Shine Spark, which isn't really an upgrade, it's just an ability. You also get the Space Jump and the Screw Attack. Now, I have to admit, the game is very, very linear. It's like Metroid Fusion, but you don't have Adam telling you where to go every 5 minutes. Once you go to a sector, you see the difference is, okay, in Metroid Other M, you're told where to go, you're told what to do, you go do what you're told to, you gain some new weapon, but then Adam does not tell you where to go next. Metroid Other M, most of the time, every time, whenever you got a new item or weapon or upgrade, he beeps you in or whatever, telling you where to go next. For the hardcore fans of the series, that drove them nuts because they did not want to hear his voice telling them where to go and what to do. That's basically insulting their intelligence. I did like how they made a throwback, or they did a throwback to the Prime series where you go to first person view to shoot missiles. The only problem is you can't move while in first person mode. Sure, you can move around and everything, but Samus stays completely still. Why? That doesn't seem to make much sense. You get one charge combo of sorts. You get the super missiles, which, like from the Metroid Prime games, sorry, take 5 missiles per shot. Now there's a total of 80 missiles in the game, main game and post game. 2 bosses actually make a return from the older games. Nightmare from Fusion. Actually, that would explain how he got to the Biological Space Lab, and Ridley, how he became a frozen husk. Yeah, he had the life drained out of him by the Queen Metroid. And here's a little fun fact for those of you who don't know. The Queen Metroid was a clone of the baby Metroid. You know, the one that saved Samus's life from Mother Brain at the end of Super Metroid? Yeah. The baby had the proper genetic... If allowed to fully grow, the baby Metroid would have become a queen. Because only certain Metroids had the proper genetic coding to grow into a queen. Also, major spoiler for those of you who haven't played the game. I don't know why you haven't. Phantoon is the true final boss of Metroid Other M, and he is huge. It's a nice throwback to Super Metroid. Because Phantoon is basically supposed to be like a ghost. Yeah. How do I rate this game? It's decent. It's not the best by far. Hold on. Gameplay is decent. It's actually pretty good if you give it a chance. Story, though, not so much. The story basically is probably its weakest point, besides the upgrades and everything. If you're a hardcore fan of the series, and if you want to, don't always believe everything that people say. I mean, you're entitled to an opinion of the game. So, whether you like the game or whether you hate the game, that's up to you. It's all how you personally view the game as a whole. Honestly, I hope we did. Before I go, I just have one question. Nintendo, where's our sequel to Metroid Fusion? The game that came out 10 years ago. Yeah. 10 years ago. 2002 was when Metroid Fusion came out. And there's not been a sequel since. I'm going to say this one more time. The series cannot go back anymore. It can only go forward. We need Metroid Dread. Please, give it to us. This is xJack. As always, signing off. Take care.